The majority in Parliament has responded to the minority's motion seeking to suspend the vetting of Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie as the Chief Justice nominee, insisting that the nomination process should proceed. In their submission, the majority argue that the ongoing legal cases concerning the removal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Isaba Tokonu do not legally prevent Parliament from conducting its constitutional duties, including the vetting of the nominee. They emphasize that delaying the process could create a leadership vacuum in the judiciary, potentially affecting the administration of justice. The majority further stated that the appointment committee has a constitutional mandate to carry out its work, and that any pending litigation should be addressed in parallel without obstructing Parliament's functions. They reiterated their commitment to ensuring a transparent and thorough vetting process while respecting the rule of law. Listen to the members of Parliament for Medina and Ashaman, that's Francis Avio-Sosu and Ernest Nogbe, respectively, who spoke to my colleague Havila Kekeli.
What they are trying to do, the minority, is exercising futility, because I don't see how they will be able to succeed in this case. Ghana needs a Chief Justice to continue the legal system in the country. So injecting the Chief Justice based on the fact that there are some other cases in court and they are waiting for the determination of those matters before the Chief Justice is being appointed or vetted and approved by Parliament, I see it as exercising futility, and I don't think it's a step in the right direction.
The state machinery cannot ground to a halt whilst we deal with all the legal matters surrounding the former Chief Justice. So, very respectfully, I believe that all the legal issues and the legal concerns that the former CJ has raised are before a court of competent jurisdiction, and I'm sure that the court is going to listen to her and determine issues that border on her rights and give appropriate directions. However, the judiciary as an institution cannot ground to a halt only because cases are being heard. So very, very respectfully, my very respectful view, the work of Parliament, I'm sure, is just going to go ahead. And as many of our leaders have already indicated from the majority side, we are ready to prosecute government business. We are ready to go ahead with the vetting. And by the special grace of God, we'll definitely approve the CJ so he can go and do the Lord's work.
So you had the members of Parliament for Medina and Ashaman constituencies, that's Francis Avio-Sosu and Ernest Nogbe, respectively, speaking to my colleague Avila Kekeli. Kekeli will join me shortly on the phone to have an extensive conversation on this particular matter. But my colleague also spoke to the member of Parliament for Adan constituency, that's Comfort Doyo. Yeah, she also had this to say. Take a listen.
They are just saying something to please themselves, but this will not work today, it will not work tomorrow, because President has nominated him and Parliament is set and ready to vet the nominee. I don't want to be too harsh, but no evil hand can prevent the nominee. We are ready as Parliament. We'll vet him, we'll approve him, and we'll go and start work.
So that's Havila, the member of Parliament for Adan constituency, Comfort Doyo, speaking to my colleague Havila Kekeli. He joins me. Kekeli joins me on the phone. Kekeli, good to have you on 505. So you had several conversations with these members of Parliament, and they say that they are ready to go on with government business, i.e., the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee Paul Baffoe-Bonnie. What's the reaction on the floor currently with regards to this particular comment? Is the minority also raising objections from this?
Yeah, the minorities are of the view that indeed the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee be completely put on hold until all issues or all court cases currently at the court are heard before this vetting will continue. So that's going to stand. They also held a press conference on it earlier today, expressing why they are of the view that this very vetting, which is slated for November 10th, be placed on hold. But the minorities, that is the majorities, are of the same belief that they are here to execute government business, and that they don't even see any case already in what the minorities are saying, and they are of the view that yes, indeed, the vetting should continue. We're hoping that this discussion we brought to the floor of, that is the plenary, but as it stands, they've not had any discussions on that yet.
I see. The other conversation about the date for the Chief Justice nominee, we understand that is on the 10th of November. Has that officially been communicated to the House or the panel committee? You do have this information as we have.
The date is not been officially communicated, even to read the press. But what we've gathered from the grapevine now is that it's been slated to the 10th of November.
I see. Kekeli, any other thing we need to know in Parliament? I know that there's been several debates about the educational sector on the floor of Parliament, yes. Currently being chaired by the former member of Parliament, that's the Honourable Siama. And I see earlier I saw the Education Minister raising several concerns about funding in education, that is a scholarship as well. What exactly has been several discussions on the floor of Parliament as we speak?
So the House today began the second consideration on the Ghana Scholarship Trust Fund. That is the Ghana Scholarship Trust Fund, which is currently brought before the House. This bill is to amalgamate all the various state scholarship portfolio. So that's what is currently being discussed on the floor of Parliament. And there's been issues or discussions on the various formulas that will determine which money goes where, and which ones of these ones must be determined and approved by Parliament. That is the debate currently ongoing on the floor of Parliament.
Kekeli, thank you so much for that update. That's my colleague in Parliament, Havila Kekeli, giving us an update on the floor of Parliament. Currently, as we speak, the Minister for Labour and Employment is on the floor. That's Dr. Rashid Pelpo is responding or raising several concerns also in his ministry. We'll cross over to Parliament shortly and also bring you some of the discussions on the floor of Parliament. But still in Parliament, Speaker of Parliament has expressed a deep disappointment over the growing absenteeism among members of Parliament, describing it as a worrying trend that undermines the effectiveness of the House. Addressing the plenary, the Speaker reminded MPs that their primary duty is to participate in debate and decision-making, the core of parliamentary work. He noted that despite having a populous majority, many MPs have been absent, citing other commitments. The Speaker disclosed that detailed attendance record have been kept and admitted it was a mistake not to make them public earlier. He warned that persistent absenteeism will no longer be tolerated, cautioning that members of Parliament who fail to meet attendance requirements risk having their seat declared vacant.
The elections have given us another extreme swing, a populous majority. But whatever we say, because of our other commitments, most likely take us out of plenary session. The message is not accepted by Ghanaians. Because during meetings, the priority should be plenary sessions. I'm not happy the way members value plenary sessions. Those of you who are always here, I see from your faces that you are with me in this matter. Before usually I commence proceedings, I will take account of those present. I'm not happy with the situation. I did indicate from the very beginning of this meeting that I have the records of attendance for the first meeting and the second meeting. I decided for good reason not to publish them, but to give you the last opportunity. It looks like that is a catastrophic mistake I made. I should have brought it out and referred members to the Privileges Committee.
So that's the Speaker of Parliament. He also reminded members of Parliament of decision to hold sittings in the afternoon to give them time for committee work, report, preparation and engagement with ministries. He said the arrangement is meant to enhance the effectiveness and interactions with constituents. The Speaker urged MPs to take their duties seriously, warning that this would be a final reminder to all of them.
It's for good reason we decided that we sit in the afternoons, so that you can take the morning to attend to committees, prepare your reports, attend to your constituents, and that by 2, then you're ready to sit. Again, that's the period you can also interact with the ministries, because there is a time established by law for public servants to report to work and to close from work. And so that is a good time for you to have the opportunity to interact and change things for and on behalf of your constituents. I also encourage the fact that the time people are working, they do not have opportunity to observe you and participate in whatever you do. But in the evenings, they have the opportunity to sit, watch, advise you, and also make some inputs. That, again, we are not taking advantage of. I'm saying this for the last time. I've given directive to the clerks at table to take the records for this meeting, and please, we have the standing orders. We know what they say. We're taking action to make sure that we compel members to sit or to be considered to have vacated their seats.
So that's Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Kingsford Sumana Babin. I'll take you to Parliament shortly, and we get some of the interactions on the floor of Parliament. Currently, as we speak, the Honourable Governors Roxy Nelson Baffoe-Bonnie is actually on the floor of Parliament raising concerns about several issues within the education sector. As I told you earlier, they were discussing issues about scholarship. Also, labor and jobs. Will cross over to Parliament, and then we'll listen to what the minister is talking about.
It is to further our stance in the Committee of Nations that we can also legislate to reciprocate these gestures. Look at Cuba. Cuba takes a lot of our young people every year. So, Mr. Speaker, I believe that my senior, the Honorable Rashid Pepo, will look at it, and if he's not minded to further his amendment, then we can carry the proposed amendment and make progress. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I seek your guidance. I humbly seek your guidance. We have the proposed amendments with us, and we have the bill as well with us. The bill, clause 25, is stating the categories at which the scholarship will be given. Now, the proposed amendment is suggesting other support or other conditions. Mr. Speaker, if any member here thinks that what the proposal is making, I mean, there are problems with it, Mr. Speaker, the person should make the proposal so that you put the question on it. Because the suggestions have been made here. VII is giving us, despite subsection 1, the authority may, for the purpose of improving international cooperation, grant scholarship to a person who is a non-Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, it is not the point for you to justify whether it is good to be there or not. It is for you, Mr. Speaker, to put the question whether somebody else, whether the House agree to be part of the bill or not. Mr. Speaker, again, when you go to the same clause, VII, it says the scholarship awarded by the authority shall be based on A. So it's making a new rendition. A, the merit for the applicant. 2, B, the developmental need of the country. Or C, the need to improve international cooperation. Mr. Speaker, so you give us a guidance.
Honorable member, you see, when you look at the A person qualifies to apply for a scholarship under this act if the person is a Ghanaian, right? So that is the basic qualification. But the amendment is coming up that there may be an instance that somebody would be not a Ghanaian, but under her circumstance or his circumstance, we may have to consider his application. Is that not the argument? So I think it is something that we can, and that's why they are giving reason for maybe international cooperation for this. So I think the amendment is up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's all I'm seeking to
So
get.
I'll put
Thank
the
you.
question. All those in favor of the proposed amendment is carried, say aye. All those against say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Now the same clause 25.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, VIII. Amendment proposed. Add the following new subclause. A scholarship awarded by the authority shall be based on A, the merit of the applicant, B, the developmental need of the country, or C, the need to improve international cooperation. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Very well. So it is in favor of the earlier one. So all those in favor of the proposed amendment say aye.
Clear, it's not. Mr. Speaker.
Class 91.3 FM.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I don't see any problem with this.
Mr. Speaker, I think we need to be clear with what we are doing as far as clause 25 is concerned. If you look at the proposed bill, it has two criteria. A Ghanaian. B, a brilliant but needy. Then when you go to the amendment.
Honourable Fred, speak to the mic, please.
When you go to the amendment, we are talking about two different things that are also confusing. Mr. Speaker, if we are proposing despite subsection A1, I agree. So that becomes subsection 2. There's the first. So now we have to deal with subsection 1. So that if subsection 1 is A, Ghanaian, B, brilliant but needy, then C, we can talk about the developmental need of the country. Then of course we
No. Honourable, you are missing. The first one is concluded. The person should be a Ghanaian and the person should be brilliant but needy.
Okay.
Then they came up with an amendment that there could be a situation that somebody may not be a Ghanaian.
Yeah, but Mr. Speaker, that becomes to that if you don't clarify, it's going to be because those two things should not be alone. In that case, I was going to propose that the eligibility should also include meet eligibility criteria as determined by the board. Because if you stick to only the two, which is a Ghanaian and brilliant but needy, it's not the standard is used across the world as far as scholarships are concerned. Because if you look at the stress-free tuition support, it's also a scholarship. And if you say only brilliant but needy student, then you are taking some out. So, Mr. Speaker, let's clearly look at.
So what do you suggest?
So I'm
that you put the question.
A person qualifies to apply for a scholarship under this act if the person is A, a Ghanaian, and B, brilliant but needy, but to include C, meet eligibility criteria, meet specific eligibility criteria are determined by the board. We should add that. Then of course we can go.
Honourable Fred, I don't side with you, but I'll put the question. I must confess, I don't side with you, but I'll put the question so that you move on. So all those in favor of the proposed amendment of my brother from Afenyo say aye. All those against say no. So the no's have it.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members,
Mr. Speaker.
Let him be frank with you. Today I am not in this position to so let's move on.
1.3 FM.
No, it's important. You know, I only come in when I have good reason. I don't do this for the fun of it. Mr. Speaker, I'm commenting on the amendment proposed, which has to do with the eligibility criteria. Here it says, a scholarship awarded by the authority shall be based on the merit of the applicant, which is fine. But the developmental needs of the country, that is where I have a problem when we are discussing the eligibility criteria of the person. Because if you take the heading, it says eligibility criteria for the award of scholarship, and we are dealing with the person. So a person qualifies to apply. But when we are talking about the developmental needs, I think that is problematic as an eligibility criteria. So, yeah, so maybe you need to explain that to me. Minister, hold on. Yes.
Before you clarify, just to add to what he's saying, Minister, if you look at what the amendment is saying, the developmental needs, you will see that if you move forward to clause 27, it talks about the consideration of application. And I think that amendment, no, I'm saying that this amendment, I'm making the proposal here that this amendment may better suit at the consideration of application, where we are going to look at the developmental needs, or because in that area you talk about the priorities of the donor. So in commenting, I think that would better suit, that amendment will suit at 27 than at eligibility. Now,
clause 27.
Yes, for the developmental needs of the country. Now, on eligibility, I just want a clarification whether the consideration is.
So that's on the floor of Parliament. Issues being discussed, the eligibility of scholarship awarding, that's the person must be a Ghanaian and brilliant but needy. Well, let's stay in Parliament because, and go back to, let's go a bit earlier to the story of absenteeism that we're talking about. I've been joined on the phone by Director of Communications for Parliamentary Network Africa, Clement Akolo. Clement, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time on 505.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Great. Yeah, last year we had a conversation about absenteeism in Parliament, and of course this year Speaker of Parliament in the beginning of this particular session has also raised that on the floor, cautioning members of Parliament to be mindful, to be mindful in the manner at which they absent themselves from proceedings. Let me have your reactions on this caution by Speaker of Parliament to members of Parliament.
Okay, thank you very much. As we have all said, we know that MPs absenting themselves from Parliament is something that affects the work of Parliament in so many ways, because it causes delays in the businesses that are transacted on the floor of Parliament, and we have that is the other side, that is the minority side, or any member of the House calling for quorum all the time. So which means that it will delay the work of the House, and also makes the work of Parliament pile up to the end of the meeting before they come to work on those things that they have to do. And this actually makes them rush through the bills and the businesses, and then at the end of it all, you realize that what the work that they do not pass muster, and would have to come back and maybe do amendments or have issues on the public domain about the inadequacy of certain laws and bills and all those things. So if they are able to come on time and then also come punctual as they're supposed to do, we all get work to do quickly. And then we have the country going the way we want it to go.
I see. Well, the speaker talked about the fact that MPs who fail to meet attendance requirements risk losing their seat. How feasible is this under Ghana's parliamentary rules and constitution?
This has not been applied before, as far as I'm concerned. And the last time we came close to it, I think Parliament capitulated at taking a strong decision on this particular situation. We all remember the issue concerning Honorable Adjasafo and the MP for...
there was Kennedy Japan as well.
Yes, Kennedy Japan and one other MP. All that didn't go anywhere because sometimes we fail at actually pushing the rules to the brink. We always talk about what could be the case, just like what the Mr. Speaker has said, that the whip will be cracked, but you realize that at the end of it all, that whip will not be cracked. But we are daring the Speaker that once he has spoken about this, we expect that he will take that the bull by the horn and make sure that some people are made an example of, a scapegoat for everybody to know that if you flout this rule and you keep on absenting yourself, there is something that will happen to you. That is when we are going to see results. But when we keep on hearing some of them warnings and then we don't get any serious or concrete steps being taken to punish anybody, we think that it's just one of those things.
The Speaker mentioned, before I let you go, the Speaker mentioned that attendance records have been kept but not made public. Should such records be published regularly to ensure accountability, especially on the part of the constituent?
Yes, I agree. I think that if we want a change in the pattern that we have had over the years, and we want some concrete results out of this democratic dispensation or the experiment that we are having, then we should be making some of these things public so that everybody will know that there is a price to pay for doing the wrong thing. And then there is a good price to pay for doing the right thing. So if indeed these records they are talking about is available, then the records should be made public for everybody to know that this is what is going on and we must nip this in the bud. But when we just say it and then we don't walk our talk, I think that we sometimes just want to put some of these things out there without really taking the right measures to make things work.
I see. Clement, let me thank you for your time this evening. I'm grateful. That's Clement Akolo, who is the Director of Communications for Parliamentary Network Africa, helping us on this particular discussion. Whopping October is here and Joint Class Media Group tomorrow.